Alright guys, the day has come to leave JGrasp in the dust and move on to a bigger, better IDE in BlueJ. So BlueJ is pretty awesome. It's a little more complicated, so I made this video to kind of walk you through that. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about that. So here's the BlueJ website. What you're going to do is go ahead and download the newest version. So you'll just scroll down a little to where it says download and install and click on whichever one you have. I have Windows obviously, so let's just go ahead and click on that. And then what that's going to do is walk you through the process of downloading. Obviously, if you have a Mac or Linux, you'll go ahead and click on that. So when you're downloading, it'll just take a minute to download this. It's a relatively large file, so I'll just go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so now it's done downloading, so we'll just go ahead and fire that up. So if you're in Chrome, of course, it'll be at the bottom of the screen. Hit OK. I promise it's not like spyware going to wreck your computer, right? Anyway, so you'll install this. Okay, so you'll go ahead and just hit next. Install just for me. Sure, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So here, add file associations. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to do this stuff, but it's up to you. Just put it in the normal spots, fine. Okay, and then we'll wait a moment for this to install. You just click through that, and I'll go ahead and pause this till it's done. Okay, so by now you're done installing, so you'll just go ahead and hit finish, and that means BlueJ is on your computer. I saved it on your desktop. You might have to go to your start menu and then type in BlueJ right there. It'll show up or whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire up BlueJ now, and you're going to see it looks a little bit different right away than what you're used to. Yours actually probably, I don't know what the latest news crap is. Okay, you're probably not going to have this. Let me close it. Probably looks like this for you. So anyway, BlueJ organizes things not with individual Java files, but in terms of projects. So we'll have one project for each lab. Okay, so I'm going to make a new project here. I'll just call this method lab. So first off, you're going to say what you're going to call it. And then for location, you can choose wherever you want to save it on your computer. Maybe I'll just save that on my desktop just so it's easy for me to see. In a minute, I'll hit OK. Okay, and then we'll see right there the folder showed up on my desktop. So now when I'm ready to code and create like an actual bit of code, I'm going to go to new class. So I'll hit new class and I'll just type in the class name. So let's, for example, just say like hello world. We'll do our normal class. Okay, so what that does, it shows up here as just the name of the class. And when you open it, there's going to be a bunch of stuff already in there. Now, I promise this stuff is going to make sense later. But what I want us to do right now is just delete everything. So just go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and just start coding like usual. So you'll do a little public static void main. You don't need to put the string args in BlueJ, which is kind of nice. And we'll just print out hello world. You might notice there's a little bit of color coding here, which is kind of nice. Okay, so we'll go ahead and compile our code, and there are no errors here. If you have an error, you'll notice something interesting. That Java, or BlueJ, sorry, will show you the error as you go. Right? It gives you this red line and underlines it and tells you there's semicolon expected. It's telling you what character the error is on. If you just hit the compile button anyway, it'll tell you it's an error, and then it kind of, again, highlights the error. And you can, if you have multiple errors, you can click through the bottom. This link will show you all the ones you have. Okay, so when you want to run, though, you might notice there is no run button. And even back in the main project, there's no run button. So that's a little weird. So when you want to actually run your code, you're going to click on this and just click on the name of the method, void main, and you just click on that, and it'll run. And it'll pop up in a separate window, the normal printing. If you went ahead and put like the string args right here, something similar is going to happen. You will go ahead and, oh, yeah, so the same thing. Just this shows up, and just hit OK to click right through that, and we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so that's how you run methods. Now, the great thing about BlueJ, and well, there are a lot of great things, but one of the reasons we waited on this is if you want to write another method, BlueJ is so good for this. So let's say we just do a simple method from the lab. So you have two ints that come in, and you are supposed to return their sum added together. So just return x plus y, the sum of those two inputs. So you can test this in your main, of course, right? So you can test this and call, like, all right, I'm going to call sum. I'm going to send it 3 and 2, and hopefully it'll send me a 5. Like, I can do that. You'll notice there's a compile button out here, too. And then when I want to run it, I'll just hit main, okay? And there it shows me the 5. It calls the method, prints out returns. But you might have also noticed you can call methods directly through here. This is pretty cool. So you could just call, instead of running your main, you're not like running anything, you're just calling one particular method. You just call it, and then it lets you type in the inputs. So you can type in a 3, and then a 2, and it will give you 5. It tells you that that method returned 5. So that's kind of sweet. One more tip about, oh geez, didn't mean to close it. That's my bad. So one more tip about that is if you want to have a method that inputs string. So for example, let's say you also take in some string word, and we're not going to use that necessarily. Oh, what did I do? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll just comment this out because I can't call that there. All right. So if you want to call this method and type in a string word, one thing worth noticing, if you just type in like cool, it doesn't work. It gives you this error. It's looking for a variable. It's just like Java. If you're doing a string, you have to type it in quotes, just like in JGrasp, and then it'll work. And that's how you call it. So if it's a string input, make sure you type in string. So if you just want to type in a method and check a method really fast, this is a terrific way that you can do that. And it's going to save you quite a bit of time in terms of testing a lot of your methods. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So that's great. You don't have to run anything. I'll show you some other cool features, and you're going to find that there are a bunch more. This is kind of cool. Say you mess up your tabs like really bad. I don't know. Like I'm bad at tabbing stuff too, but if you like mess up your tabs just unbelievably poorly, there's a button in here that lets you fix everything. You go to Edit and then Auto Layout. Watch. Oh, it just magically fixes everything. It's incredible. So that's another one of the sweet features about BlueJ. I like the color coding, and when you have like if statements, it kind of breaks those out right. So like if 3 is bigger than 2, oops, and then you can see it kind of like color codes and separates if statements. So there are a lot of other cool features you'll discover as you go. So I think you guys are really going to love BlueJ. I'm a big fan of it. I'm just going to use that the rest of the way, and I think it's something you'll really enjoy. I did want to talk about one more thing, which is how things save. So let's close out of BlueJ. We'll close out. Oh, I should talk about this too. If you get stuck in a loop, so let's say you have an infinite loop here. There's not like an obvious end button, but what you'll see is when you run your code and it gets stuck in a loop like this, there's no end, but this blue bar shows you the program's running. So when you want to stop it, you just hit that little arrow thing right next to it. And I'm not even recording, maybe. Okay, so then I just hit that. Okay, and that will fix things. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't think I was recording right now, but I'm really stupid. So that's good. So anyway, that's how you end your code right there. Okay, so that's pretty good. The only other thing I wanted to share with you guys was kind of how it works. So the way BlueJ works is it saves things in folders, right? So if you open an individual folder, this is what it looks like. And it has a bunch of other files in here, but the main things are it has your Java file and then this package. So if you just want to open your code, if you double click on it, it's just going to open in JGrasp like you're used to. If you want to open your entire project, that's you clicking on the package right there. And that's how that'll work, and that will open it back up. So when you want to upload, you could just upload the individual Java folders, or if you want, you could just go to Google Drive here and just turn in the whole thing. So you can go to your turn in folder, you can hit plus and do a folder upload. I am not signed in. Hilarious. Okay. So all right, my bad. So you could do new and then folder upload. And then what you could do is you could just select the whole one. So you just say, hey, I'm going to do my method labs and hit upload. And then that will just upload your folder with all the code and everything inside that. So that's just one click. It'll upload everything. Okay, so that's some of the cool features here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy BlueJ.